Did you know worry was a sin? A little while back, I went through a period of time where worry just really took over my life and my actions. I was so afraid that someone in my family would die or hardship would come that I just let this worry begin to take over my mind. Growing up, my dad's a Marine, so he would leave on deployments, and my fear wasn't too serious, but just the thought of my dad will leave and never came back just lingered in the back of my mind. But it began to get serious in 7th grade around Christmas time when there was a freak accident and my brother's best friend died. It was so scary and heartbreaking seeing the people I love and the community I lived in go through such a tragic loss. And it was scary knowing that somebody so close to you could die so suddenly. And this worry began to build up inside of me, but it didn't come out until about half a year later when my grandma passed away. I was going in 8th grade and it was around the fall time and she got sick and suddenly passed. It was very hard because my grandma and I were super close, and this worry began to just take over. It took over my mind, my actions, my thoughts, what I did, what I let myself do. My dad would leave for work and I'd be so scared that he'd get in a car accident, or I'd say goodnight to my mom, go upstairs and literally cry myself to sleep because I was so scared she wouldn't wake up again. And this went on for about 5 months longer, and it was just constant fear and anxiety that I would lose someone else I loved. So I joined the worship team at my church. I began to realize how good God was, and I wanted to experience that for myself. I spent time in the Word, spent time in prayer, and really just did everything I could to grow my relationship. And I found comfort every time I went and worshiped and sang. I found comfort knowing God's in control. I could give Him this worry that I had been dealing with for so long. He cared for me, and He is willing to take that. I could cast this burden on Him. In 1 Peter 5:7, it says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." This was so encouraging to me in this time because I knew I could give Him this burden that I had been carrying for so long, and He was willing to take it from me. Yes, I still struggle sometimes with worry, but I let Him take control in those times of needs, and I turn to Him in prayer. So I just encourage anyone who struggles with the same thing, whether it's serious or small, just know God's in control and He has the master plan. He is the King of Kings, and He knows what's next, so we don't have to worry about it. So I just encourage you to give it to God and turn to Him in this time of need.
Well, Faith, you encourage us today. You certainly do have a lot of wisdom for a very young person. You know, we all worry, don't we? I don't think I have to convince you that we go through stages where we worry, we have these anxious thoughts. Some of us deal with them often. Sometimes it's just kind of seasonal. I've certainly dealt with this anxiety and worry, and we worry about what people think of us. We worry about some tragedy striking, all these things. But she brought up that verse in 1 Peter 5, cast your cares on Him. That's God. That's who Peter's talking about, because He cares for you. When that was first written, the translation meant because you are of concern to Him. And how do we know this? We know this because of Jesus, because God, who Peter's referring to, cast your cares on Him, sent His Son. Here's the amazing thing to me in that verse, that Jesus desires we cast our cares on Him. God desires that we look to His Son and cast our cares. It's hard to find people in life that want to share our concerns and our pain and our anxiety. It is, isn't it? We have a God who wants us to bring these concerns and fears and anxious thoughts to Him. Sometimes it's hard to wrap our heads around that we are free and encouraged to bring these fears and worries to God. Jesus in Matthew, I think it's Matthew 5 or 6, it's Matthew 6, I believe, 5 times Jesus says, do not worry. It's like a command, do not worry, do not worry, do not worry. You cannot add a single hour to your life by worry. What's He mean by that? It's of no benefit to you to worry. Sometimes it's like we feel like we have to worry because it shows we're responsible. It shows that we have a plan to make. Jesus wants us to rest in Him. My favorite scripture, one of them, John 14:27, Jesus says, peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. And when we receive a gift, we have to open it. We have to engage with the giver. And Jesus says, this is a peace not like the world gives. Do not be troubled or afraid. Now, I have found in life it's very difficult to worry and worship, to worry and meditate on God's love. Sometimes that's easier said than done. right? Because these things are on our heart. But I have found, and it's taken me a long time to find it, that when I'm in prayer, when I'm seeking God, when I'm telling God how much I think of Him, it's more difficult to think about my worries and concerns. And just one final note, this idea of casting our cares upon God, it's not, a lot of times we think of casting, it's like fishing, right? We throw it out there, but we bring it back. We do that so many times with our worries. And in the biblical sense here, casting is throwing it, it's flinging it, it's distancing ourselves from it. It's an act of will, and Jesus does not want us to take it back on. So if you'd like an additional resource on this and how to prayerfully meditate on this scripture and seek freedom from anxiety, I am telling you there is hope in the gospel of Jesus. And if you're a Christian and you're saying, why am I struggling with worry? Why am I struggling with anxious thoughts? We live in a fallen world, and a lot comes at us, and there are a lot of distractions. So we need to stay grounded in Jesus. We want to send you a resource that'll help you do that. It's a free resource sheet. It's called Freedom from Anxiety. I encourage you to download a free copy at cbn.com, or you can give us a call, 800-700-7000, and we will send it to you. Freedom from Anxiety, God's power for you and your family. So please give us a call.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Key. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so we can reach more people with encouraging content like you just watched, and so you never miss a beat. See you next time, and God bless.